One night, everything changed for me as a housekeeper. At first, temptation whispers quietly in the shadows. You don't hear it pounding on the door or screaming. It sneaks up till its breath is hot against your neck. A chilling reminder of you're alone. It changed me. I stood before my boss's bedroom door at midnight, my heart racing and my silk robe clinging to me like a second skin, driven by an insatiable longing. I'm Junior in a shadowy world of secrets. As a live-in nanny for a lovely family in Miami, I live among their laughter and chaos at 25. Mother Maria is nice and caring, perhaps too much. She welcomed me like an elder sister and guided me through life's curveballs. She married William, a unique power. Powerful shoulders show strength and resilience. Salt and pepper hair like a stormy sky offers stories of time and wisdom. When he called my name, his deep voice sent thrills down my spine and made my legs tremble. William was more than attractive. His charisma captivated everyone. His power was undeniable. A man entered the room, his dominance making everyone feel small and insignificant. He stared at me for too long, dipping just a bit too low. Unspoken tension between us cracked in those few moments, and I understood I wasn't alone in perceiving danger underneath the surface. The night Maria left for her week-long business trip began an unexpected journey. An eerie calm and piercing cold filled the deserted house. I felt a wild, untamed fever pushing me to embrace the chaos instead of duty. I couldn't sleep that night. I writhed in the blankets, that tiny robe clinging to my flesh, a garment I had never worn before. Every minute, my heart pounded like a drum in the silence of my room across the hall from his. Was it crazy? Perhaps. But I no longer care. My heart ached with desperation. I needed him. I cautiously descended the dim hallway. The house was dark and silent. The fridge downstairs' faint hum broke the eerie silence. My pulse was beating and anticipation was high as I stood before his door. Expectation made my fingertips tremble. I choked on my breath. My silk robe stuck to my hand as I raised it, the cool fabric touching me. I knuckled the door with determination. Only once gently. I secretly wished he would ignore me. But he did. The door creaked open, revealing him in the faint light, sun-glistening skin. The sight was magnificent, with heavy eyelids scarcely open. Junior, he said raspily, sending shivers down her spine. Is everything okay? Gulped. Tension, nervousness, and the weight of the moment kept me awake. I was uncomfortable with my emotions and couldn't stop thinking. Dare I enter? He waited, held captive by uncertainty. My robe, bare legs, and enticing hip arc caught his attention. His jaw tightened, a tempest forming inside, yet he moved away, letting the tension hang. I went in. His scent of aged wood, exotic spices, and mysterious masculinity permeated the air. His door slammed shut, locking me in the dim chamber. What's wrong? He asked worriedly. I turned to face him. I breathed hesitantly as my heart raced. Not sure how to phrase this, I whispered. You dominated my thoughts for weeks. Shadows danced in his eyes. He moved slowly as if the air between us was tense. Junior, you just know this is wrong. I understand, I said, but I'm relaxed. He now stood inches away. His body warmth enveloped me in a deep embrace. Each breath was a subtle witness to the calm around him as his chest rose and fell slowly. His gaze remained on me, creating tension and unspoken ideas. He asked quietly, uncertainly. Our tension is apparent. When our eyes met, the air felt thick with something unspoken, intensifying the moment. We felt uncontrollable as our emotions collided, starting a fire that enveloped us both. I felt the overpowering emotion between us as he pulled me closer. I attempted to understand our predicament and felt a surge of emotions, my pulse racing. The weight of his stare on me increased the tension between us as I shifted. Since he was so close, I could feel the tension in the air and was overcome by emotions. Maria seemed distant and my thoughts were fragmented, causing inner struggle. Finally, I tasted the forbidden flavor I craved. He gave it to me, a nighttime tide. He repeatedly stirred up emotions I never knew existed. The way his fingertips touched my skin, his breath tickled my ear, and his embrace afterward transcended a night. The door creaked open, a barrier we could never close. I woke up to find myself in his sheets as the warm morning light crept through the drapes. I felt comforted and excited by his possessive grasp. Everything changed on that tragic night, but it was just the start. We had to keep going because of our unrelenting pace. We thank Ella Infidelity Stories' amazing subscribers. You stimulate our passion for writing these deep, passionate, and fascinating stories. Enter our world. If this is your first visit, subscribe to join our growing family. There are many stories to tell. I awoke with my head on his chest, feeling his calm breath, which grounded me in the moment. The tangled sheets wrapped around our legs, enslaving us in the faint light. The room was cluttered. After the events, everything was disorganized. His arms stayed around me, a nonverbal statement that he wouldn't let go. I closed my eyes and believed he owned me for a moment. I felt like I was supposed to be in his arms, in his bed, and part of his life. However, reality snuck in, a chilling draft. My supervisor, this man had sworn to support Maria through every storm and doubt. I was prohibited to touch him, but last night I succumbed to the overwhelming need to taste him. However, I had no regrets. His hand gently moved up my back, sending a shudder down my spine. "Are you okay?" My heart raced as he asked in that rich, languid voice. My lip was between my teeth as I stared at him, beyond pleased. His lips twisted into a smile and his eyes lit up. That smile. I was shocked and my heart raced. "I didn't expect that," he whispered, tenderly tucking a stray hair behind my ear. "I was surprised by your coming." As I moved my weight above him, the sheet fell to my waist. I moved in and gently kissed him again, relishing the taste of the lips that had devastated my life hours earlier. "I'm not done with you," I said, touching his chest and sparking a connection. A low groan brought shadows back into his eyes. "You're powerful." "No," I muttered, sliding down the bed, kissing his stomach sweetly, then daringly lowering. "I'm yours," he moved, propping himself up, but I softly pressed him down, smiling. He sensed my intentions but did nothing. My yearning for his approval overpowered me. I wanted my recollection to haunt his dreams whenever he fell asleep. I carefully pulled him in, enjoying every moment, a thrilling dance of expectation. He ran his fingers through my hair as I swung, my tongue and lips dancing in a passionate rhythm and my hands holding him gently but firmly. He uttered a low, haunting moan that rang through the night, revealing everything I wanted to know, Junior. His breath was harsh. "The feeling is amazing." I let myself feel every emotion as I sought to grasp what was occurring between us. I wanted him to release our stress. He did without hesitation, as if his determination cracked the air around him. His body was like a spring ready to release energy. With a heavy groan, he grasped the covers hard, pressing into the fabric for comfort. As I crept back to cuddle next him, he drew me in tight and murmured something that will always stay with me. "No one has ever moved me like that." "Not your loving," opened my eyelids. The silence stretched between them like a taut wire, waiting for his reaction. He looked at me with earnestness and vulnerability, sending a shudder down my spine. "Maria and I are no longer close. She is constantly busy and exhausted. Tired always. Our lips barely meet anymore." Sinking my teeth into my lip. I didn't want to show him sympathy. My willpower collapsed and emotion flooded me like a tidal wave. "She's lucky," I said. His thumb lightly touched my lips as he muttered, "No. Fate has favored me." We spent hours in bed, engrossed in one another's warmth and comfort. Momentary whispers flooded the air. The spark from their lips sent sincere chills down their spines. We lost ourselves in each other, surrendering to passion as if each embrace could erase our lonely nights. However, as dawn neared, the morning light sneakily entered the chamber, whispering hope through the curtains and bringing guilt. I discreetly left his bed, heart beating, and returned to my chamber in time to dodge the children's wakings as dawn broke through the crevices. My reflection captivated me in the mirror. Swollen lips, scarlet neck marks, and a flush on my cheeks. I looked entirely different. A woman who entered an unreturnable realm. The strangest twist awaits. My want to return was strong. On that fateful day, we wore our finest masks to appear normal. The kitchen was lit by the rising sun as breakfast sizzled on the stove. The morning began quickly with school drop-off commotion, laughs, and yells. The house was a disaster from yesterday and needed organization. Every room has a life story. We glanced intensely, sparking the air between us. He said, "You're all I've been thinking about," as he passed me in the dim kitchen light. He kissed me against the door in the dimly lit laundry room, a private moment. As the sun set, our tension ignited a fire that made restraint impossible. When I entered his room before supper, he effortlessly pulled me onto his lap, making me feel like I was intended to be there. That week, as Maria explored the unknown, we were engulfed in desire, our relationship increasing with every stolen moment. We relaxed in the hot shower. Tension hovered over the living room couch. The pool sparkled late one night in his office under the sky. There was more than physical contact. A burning hunger, unquenchable craving. Their relationship deepened with each kiss. Uncontrollable urgency accompanied each touch. We danced on the brink of danger, mindful of our surroundings. Our unrelenting pursuit continued. The intensity of the moment engulfed us in feelings we couldn't shake. His huge hands grasped my waist, slowly and intensely guiding me into him as if he were engraving every feeling of me into his mind. Our bodies danced in passion, sweaty and lost in the covers. Every moan I made was swallowed by his mouth. I was taken to another world with every breath, losing all sense of my surroundings. It went beyond desire. Danger permeated the air. In that moment, the warmth of his bed surrounded me, and I felt like fate had conspired to bring me here beyond Junior, the nanny. His voice was laden with longing. Your acts make me feel things I don't understand. I smiled in the shadows as I rode him slowly, clinging to the electrifying tension between us. Like a storm brewing. Good. I whispered into his ear, the words a secret waiting to be revealed. I destroyed everything you are because I wanted to. Nights are like black tapestries of secrets and shadows. We were swept up in feelings, unable to deny our connection. The truth about flame dancing? It seems to scorch your spirit. Thursday was a normal day, but the air was charged with anticipation of the remarkable events that were about to happen. As I methodically packed the kids' lunchboxes, my soft humming, loose tank top, and chilly air filled the kitchen. He crushed his lips to mine, the fridge's cool metal against my back, and whispered that he wanted me in his office after the kids left. I grinned, craving for him almost unbearably. Just as the front door creaked open, everything shattered. Greetings. Maria's ghostly voice filled the dim passageway. I remained still. So did he. She was supposed to return on Saturday, but she walked in with her luggage and a weary smile, as if she hadn't just returned prematurely from a work trip that revealed our secret. Oh my God. Exclaiming, she opened her arms to the kids. My heart broke for you all. I turned back fast, trying to cover my face with my heart racing. He approached, hesitantly embracing her and kissing her cheek. You returned early, he said. His nonchalant voice hardly masked his anxiousness. The last 2 sessions were abruptly canceled. I wanted to surprise everyone. She turned and stared at me in the faint light. Junior? I can't thank you enough, Junior, for everything you did while I was away. I nodded, trying to grin. Absolutely. It's always fun, but I screamed. There was no time to change the sheets. An uncomfortable tension pervaded that afternoon. His eyes hardly touched me. She hugged him, laughing triumphantly as she returned. In that moment, I was invisible and voiceless, as if the world had forgotten me. Lost in time, a gentle knock woke me up as the house fell silent and the world outside darkened. He plagued her nightmares and hovered just outside her reality. I slowly opened it. He lingered in the dim light, wearing sweatpants and a snug shirt, his eyes filled with shame and hunger. Her lips touched mine, he muttered, and I hated it. A heavy cloud of silence conveyed volumes without speaking. I dragged him inside, my pulse beating as we struggled to make sense of the overwhelming emotions whirling around us. Stillness surrounded the air, swift and sharp. We were struggling with the aftermath, which was intense. I kept falling between pleasure and remorse until I broke in his grasp, my nails pressing into his back. He murmured into my neck, his warm breath sending goosebumps down my spine. I missed you. I get chills. I kept thinking about your mouth, your hands lighting a fire inside me, and your voice tormenting my soul. All that exists. As with our first meeting, the intensity of the occasion overpowered me and my mind raced with feelings I hadn't processed. We were both engulfed in emotions we couldn't escape. Your presence warms me more than any delight I've had. Nobody has crossed this line with me. His comments enticed me to go deeper and slower, enticing him until his knees buckled. He smothered a loud moan to keep his voice down, but I feared she would hear anything if she was awake. He then kissed me recklessly, like if the world had vanished. But I did. My heart felt heavy with worry. Should have turned back. That night, he entered my room and kissed me like I was his lifeblood. I should have left. However, I did not. I accepted him back into my body, heart, and soul. With unquenchable yearning, we submitted. His lips touched me. I couldn't resist his magnetic attraction. I cried muffled on his chest. We stayed together in the silence that spoke volumes. The rhythm of their breaths intertwining like a song in the silent night comforted them. I'm falling for you, he muttered, just breaking the silence, vulnerable and wanting. Words escaped me like shadows in the darkness as I blinked. I also sensed it. Perhaps that caused our negligence. They had no idea that the next morning would bring mayhem and destroy everything they valued. A phone left on the kitchen counter with a faint glimmer started it all. It remained silent, a forgotten remnant of a bustling world. He was upstairs, surrounded by kids laughing and chaos. Warm water cascaded over my hands as I stood at the sink, the silent kitchen ringing with dishes and glasses clinking. Their wife Maria was supposed to have a leisurely brunch with her friend. She returned earlier than expected. Her voice began as a whisper in the shadows. She entered the room quietly, her heels echoing on the hardwood floorboards, each step a hint of anticipation. "Oh," she gasped when she heard the phone buzzing on the counter amid the silence. Her fascination led her to grab it tightly. I turned around, my pulse racing, to see her face turning colorless. She read the screen with expectation, a message for my eyes only. Last night was an emotional roller coaster with unforgettable experiences. I taste your essence, a disturbing remembrance of then. I was hungry and needed to be fed. Tension rushed through her as she grasped the phone. The slow, deliberate turn in her eyes toward me sent a shudder down my spine. A heavy veil of calm seemed to cover everything for eternity. In that moment, what the hell? I stood still as the dish fell from my grip and shattered into 1,000 pieces in the sink. Maria stormed up the stairs, phone in hand, wrath on her face. I ran after her, panicking as my heart raced. She barged into their bedroom where he was helping the kids dress. "Have you slept with the nanny?" His expression showed disbelief as he spun. "Maria, hold." She threw the phone at him with great intent, the air tense. "I can't ignore the reality, so please be honest." The children stared, confused and scared. I shivered as she ordered me out with a sharp finger. Maria waited at the edge of the world, her heart beating. Wind whipped her hair, whispering secrets to be revealed. Every moment was full of possibility, as if the universe was waiting for her next move. "Leave my house now." I retreated, shaking, humiliated and depressed. I threw my possessions into my bags in a rush, racing against time. I just had 10 minutes and every second was filled with anticipation. As I left, he pursued me. She struggled to speak, but she stood like a storm, preserving her pride and family. I left with a sorrowful heart. Suddenly, everything changed. The affair ended, but the effects persisted. I struggled with the emotional repercussions, wondering if it was worth it. Weeks passed, mingling like twilight shadows. I found a charming apartment in a busy city. After being laid off, I got a part-time work and integrated into my new life. I lowered my sight, feeling the world's weight. He triggered emotions I tried to forget. My heart raced when he touched me, making me feel like the only woman in the world, loved and cherished. My phone buzzed in the night, breaking the silence. He plagued her nightmares and hovered just outside her reality. She's hidden, gathered the kids. Filed for divorce, her heart racing, she entered the unknown. All was gone, leaving only your terrible memory. As I immersed myself in the television, time passed. I felt emotional and started crying. A sense of urgency drove me to act. I wanted to tell him I missed him. I had recurring dreams of him. I felt his presence but didn't act. With a flip, I silenced my phone and hid in bed. Like ours, some love stories are fleeting, tantalizing, and eternal.